everything. Those desperate tears, the wailing and the gnashing and the beating of breasts, the fighting and the clawing, but for me, he has no sting. Take me to that beautiful place, drop me in the water, curl my eyes into my toes, take this land to slaughter, pray for sinners everywhere. The heart is high. They've done so much of that, done so much of that. That sin, that terrible sin, the sin of them all. The shooting and the lying and the staying out late, the fighting and the boozing and the stealing and the cheating and the fornicating and the blasphemizing. Oh, Lord, that he's gonna, sure gonna sing. Take me to that beautiful place, drop me in the water, curl my arms into my toes, take this now to slaughter, pray for sinners everywhere. There's nowhere to hide.
I'm here with Erilyn Wallen. We're so happy that you are with us and that you've been a part of our Voices project, Erilyn. So we'll just go through a few questions and just to get to know you a little bit better, because I think a lot of our audience isn't necessarily familiar with your work yet, and now they are, which is fantastic, which is so wonderful. So maybe I'm just curious if you wouldn't mind telling us what brought you to music and composition specifically in the first place. What's your journey with music?
I think it wasn't a straightforward route to become a professional composer, but as a child, I was certainly always singing. I would write songs for my sisters and myself to sing to go to school. I went to dance classes, and the music I heard there was had a major impact on my discovery
Mm.
of classical music.
Oh
And
yeah.
from there, I went to piano lessons. But I still think that composition and performance are things that go together, and that for me, it was always a natural it was a natural progression to go from loving playing the piano to then composing. But it took me a while for me to actually call myself a composer,
And
and I
did
don't know that's because
Oh, I was just going to say, is that what is that a result of? Why did it take you a bit to own that identity for yourself?
it could be simply because I didn't know any other composers that looked like me. And the other thing was, it was so hard. It seemed to be so hard to actually break into the industry. It's even though I'd studied music, I had no idea of how you connected with ensembles. Um, but when I started working as a keyboard player and working with other players, then musicians forming a band, I, that's when I really developed my songwriting and I sort of gained the confidence. Um, I wasn't that confident a person, but though I've always been utterly confident about my great enthusiasm for music, and it's that's driven me to really try and get the best sort of training for myself.
Did you start as a composer more in terms of instrumental music, or has composing for the voice always been something that has been of interest and appealing to you, or your primary focus?
I'm just trying to think. I've written so much vocal music now, it's sort of incredible to me. I know that some of the earliest things I wrote as a little kid, age 9, were songs for my sisters. And then I remember writing my first official composition is called Frogs and Toads. I say it's official. It was for my classroom, but it was a setting of a poem in a children's book. And so I think the idea of words and music. I was brought up to really love poetry from a very young age, and we were were made to recite poetry from memory, and I think that's gone deep into me, the idea of setting texts. I love writing for orchestra though too, but the voice is it's just forever. It's so expressive. I love it.
One of the interesting things about the pieces that are on this program are that they're also all texts that were written by you as well, as opposed to settings of other people's poetry. Um, have you also written poetry separately, or are lyrics just a part of your composition, or is that your primary focus? Is like, what's the difference for you in terms of setting other people's words versus finding your own words and setting those to music?
Certainly, as I wrote reams and reams of poetry. In fact, I won a poetry competition when I was quite young as a teenager, and it was judged by Ted Hughes and Philip Larkin, which was kind of amazing.
That's wonderful.
And it was a poem that I just wrote sitting on a. But I love poetry and I loved writing it, and I do make a distinction between writing poetry, some of mine which I've set, but lyrics. When I'm writing my songs, most often the lyrics and the music somehow chase each other, and
Sure.
I love that. I love that experience of. I feel absolutely free, but I do like working with writers too because that's another set of parameters to work with.
Sure. And do you find, in terms of some of the opera work that you've done and are doing, I know you're in you've mentioned that there's a piece that you're kind of developing right now. Do you tend to be the librettist or lyricist for those as well? Or do you tend to work with other writers when you're working on opera?
There are three of my operas I have written libretti for. It's called the Another America series, but most of them I've worked with different writers, and they come from various backgrounds. Some have been poets, some have been novelists, some have been playwrights, and I love the collaborative process of making an opera. But there are still times when I like sort of to dig into my own text. What I find is, and what I encourage in my students, is that the ability to write your own text doesn't matter if it's not fantastic, gives the experience of knowing what the writer has to go through. And certainly when you're working with an opera, even if you have a libretto written, by another writer, you have to know how to shape those words. You might have to reduce them. You have to make them scan in a different way. So the ability to work with words is crucial, I think, for composing.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you find the approach to writing self-contained songs versus arias in the course of a larger opera different in approach, or do you just let kind of the muse take you in terms of whatever you're working on, instrumental, vocal, whatever the genre might be?
Yes, that's a big question, isn't it? What I actually honestly feel that if you can write a short song and in 3 or 4 minutes convey a powerful atmosphere or expression, um, in a way, when you're writing operas, you're aiming for those moments, those aria moments. But obviously, writing opera is much more of a marathon. It can take months and years to write an opera. Whereas a song, you've got to get everything has to happen within a short frame of time. I'm just writing a song now, and it's a song that has to be that it's for specific for autistic children, and I've never had that challenge. But it's using repetition, and and I've loved writing that text and words myself. But what I think about setting different forms. I've written oratorios. I've written some liturgical music as well as operas. The heart of it to me is getting close to the character and letting the music bring out the characters and the underlying drama. So that's a slightly separate skill to just writing a song.
Sure. What that actually is kind of interesting segue into the pieces that were on this particular program. Is there anything about any of those 8 pieces that you would like us to know generally? Or we could chat a bit about how they were programmed and kind of what evolved as a result of working with the students on putting them all together. But if there's anything kind of broadly speaking about the pieces that were selected to be on this program that you'd like us to know, I'm sure we'd love to hear it.
So broadly speaking, those songs are songs that just came from me, nothing to do with really commissions or anything. That they were very much songs for myself to perform, sing, either solo or with a band. So they're very, very, very special to me. And what is even more special is that now other singers, are singing them. So that's a very exciting journey for me.
Yeah, I believe you said when we met with the students was that most of them, I think there may have only been a couple of them that had been performed by other singers before. So this is the first time that you're getting to hear them in other people's voices. And what is that
Yes,
experience for you?
it's so revealing. The songs come back to me, and I start to think. Actually, it helps me to write more songs. So I think, that is how that person reacted to that phrase. That those those notes, and so I find it actually pretty inspiring.
That's wonderful. What led you to say yes to working on this project in the first place with us?
Well, I thought because I'm incredibly busy at the moment, I suddenly thought, but the opportunity to work with performers and with such a prestigious institution as the Eastman, I thought I'd be a fool to say no, because it's as a composer, everything. Nothing unless your work is performed, unless you can hear it and critique it and work with new performers and it's not you're not living a full life as a composer. So I it was a wonderful opportunity.
Is there anything from a couple of those initial conversations with the students specifically that it illuminated something new about the material that you possibly hadn't thought of before because they were such personal pieces for you?
Yes, I think I'm always interested in thinking of the imagery or the characterization that a performer will tell me about. So and some of the songs have been interpreted in ways that I find surprising, but I thought, oh my goodness, it makes me realize how each person, each singer brings their whole life experience to a song. It's not just a song they're singing, and so their personality comes out. So that's reinforced that idea for me.
Well, that's so great. I think that one of the things that really was so exciting for me in the process of working with the students on these pieces is how quickly they latched on to the kind of meaning and the text, and how personal some of it became for some of them. They felt like they connected and resonated with this material right off the bat, and I think that ended up being a very powerful experience for them. Also, the fact that we tried to find some, I think, through line for the two pieces that each singer sang, while they normally were all standalone pieces, but to find some sort of connective tissue between them, I think also created a really interesting conversation and way to think about where are the where is a story, where is there potentially a story in these different
Yes,
texts and in these different
yes.
songs, and that was really fun to explore.
Because the other thing I meant to say, that some of my texts are actually quite elusive, aren't they?
Mm,
I deliberately write some of them, a song like Guru, or which I can't think of another song, even a song like Off the Map. They've
yeah,
got, you get little pictures of things, but it's not always very clear. And
right.
so I'm really delighted that performers have made this their own.
So I'm so glad. Well, as we're speaking, the whole program is being finally put together from the individual recordings and things. So I'm excited to see how it all turns out, and I
I
think that
know.
hopefully by
I
the
just
time
can't wait.
I know, I think it's exciting for everyone. It's been a real thrill to have this opportunity to find new ways of making theater and making musical lyric theater in the midst of a global pandemic. And we're so grateful that you provided us such vibrant and meaningful material to work with during this time. Um, so it,
Thank you.
I'm curious to know, as we continue to move forward, one day, this will be a memory, and we'll be in a new place in our world, however things adjust and shape. But what are your what are your thoughts on, um, you know, opera as we continue on into the 21st, 22nd centuries, and it has such a particular history. I think you were mentioning, not seeing composers like yourself growing up, and how is it to be in this art form, and what do you see its role for the future?
I'm passionate about making opera, and I think it's so important that composers now tell stories of our time, or tell stories that really matter. You know, um, I think there's a widely held view that opera is just about a museum culture, but composers are very excited by the form because it allows the widest collaboration you'll ever get. It involves dance, music, text, all the technical, the direction, the lighting, the costume. I just love the way it brings so many skills together, but it has to be at the service of something that will genuinely make a difference. So I feel a great responsibility personally
Hmm.
to not just to write something that will actually have meaning and speak of our time.
Well, thank you so much, Erilyn. That's very inspiring. It speaks to my heart, and I'm sure it speaks to everyone's. I think there is so much heart and soul in your music. It's just so evident, and it was such a privilege to work on. So thank you for your time and for your talent, for your art, and all the work you continue to do. Stay happy and
Oh,
healthy
thank you,
and
Lindsay.
safe in all of this, and we will wish you well and hope to be able to collaborate with you again in the future.
Yes, and you too. It's been a joy working with everybody. Everyone's been so open and friendly and fantastic. I'm deeply grateful.
Thank you.